Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm Russ LeBlanc, your personal NEC consultant and electrical code expert. In this video, I'm going to be explaining feeder and service calculations for electric cooking equipment like ranges, ovens, and cooktops. Specifically, what I'm going to be looking at is Table 220.55 and Note 1. All right, grab your 2023 codebook and we can dive right into these examples. All right, again, we are looking at Table 220.55 along with Note 1. Let's take a look at the table. Okay, here's my version of the table. Right, we've got on the left the number of appliances, then we have a column A, column B, and column C. Now the heading for the table says column C is to be used in all cases, except when we're applying Note 3. Note 3 allows us to use column A and B, but we're not doing that right now. We are looking at Note 1. All right, so we're going to be focusing on column C along with Note 1. Now, what are the numbers in column C? Well, those are actual kilowatt demand numbers. It's not a percentage of nameplate. It's just that's the number you use for your group of ranges. So if you've got one range or cooktop or whatever the type of cooking unit it is, you just read the number in column C. That's it. You don't have to do any math. You just read column C. As one example. All right, and we'll just keep scrolling through there. And you can see, so for example, if we had 20 ranges, right, and or 20 cooking units, and none of their nameplates were above 12, we would just read column C, done, no math. That's pretty cool, right? Anytime we don't have to do math, that's cool. All right, and then it gets a little more complicated once we get above 25 appliances. That'll be another video. I'll cover those demands in a separate video. Okay, here's our first example. So in this one, what is the minimum permitted feeder or service demand load for the following group of ranges? What we have is 9 ranges rated 12 kilowatts each. So 9 12 kilowatt ranges. Take a moment and give that a shot. If you want to pause the video, you can pause it here, and then when you're done, you can restart the video and I will give you the answer. Okay, there's the correct answer. The correct answer is A, or 24 kW. And it's really just a matter of reading the demand in column C for 9 units, right? None of the nameplates are above 12, so we just read column C and we're done. And if we look at the table, for 9 units, rated 12 kW each, we just read column C, 24 kW, that's it, we're done, no math. It's about as easy as it's going to get. Now let's take a look at Note 1. Note 1 says, over 12 through 27 kW ranges are all the same rating. For ranges individually rated more than 12 but not more than 27, the maximum demand in column C is going to need to be increased 5% for each additional kilowatt of rating or major fraction thereof, by which the rating of the individual ranges exceeds 12. Okay, so if the rating of the range is 12.5, well, then we have to increase column C by 5%. If the rating of the range is 13, we have to increase it by 5%. If the rating of the range is 14, we have to increase column C by 10%. If the rating of the ranges is 15 kW, we have to increase column C by 15%, right? And so it's in increments of 5%. So it's 5%, 10%, 15%, 20%, and so on and so forth. Okay, here's another group of ranges. This time it is 9 13 kW ranges. Now remember, we're going to have to increase column C because the nameplate rating of these ranges is greater than 12. So we have to read column C and then add something to it, 5%, 10%, 15%, whatever it works out to be. All right, so give this one a shot, and then when you're done, we will show you the answer. All right, the correct answer for this one is C. It is 25.2 kW. So it's the table, 220 to 55, along with note 1, column C, and then we're going to add something to column C. All right, so we have 9 13 kW ranges. It's the column C demand for 9 units plus 5% because the individual ratings are above 12. So we can't just read column C without adding 5%, 10%, 15% to it, right? In this case, we're going to add 5% to it. So the demand in column C for 9 units is 24 kW. We have to add 5% to that. And that gets us to our total of 25.2 kW. And if we take a look at the table, you can see that there. We just find the number of appliances, 9. Move over to column C, 24 kW. But we got to add 5% to that because the nameplates here are actually 13. That's above 12 by 1 kW. That means we have to add 5% onto column C. Let's do one more. All right, in this case, we have a group of 14 kW ranges. We have 9 of them. 9 14 kW ranges. All right, we're above 12 kW for our nameplate, so we got to read column C and then add 5%, 10%, 15%, whatever it is, right? So you have to figure out what percentage we have to add to column C in this case. Take a moment and I'll give you the answer in a second. Okay, 26.4 kW is the correct answer. So again, it's table 22055 along with note 1, column C plus 5%, 10%. In this case, it's going to be 10% we have to add. Here's how we got there. So we have 9 14 kW ranges. So the demand in column C for 9 units plus 10%. The demand in column C for 9 units, again, is 24 kW. This time we're going to add 10% to that for a total of 26.4 kW. And if we take a look at the table, 9 units. Add 10% to that, right? Their rating is actually 14 kW, so that is 2 kilowatts over 12, right? The individual rating is over 12. So in this case, it's 2 kilowatts over 12. Well, it's 5% for every kilowatt, or major fraction of a kilowatt. We're 2 kilowatts over 12. So it's column C plus 10% in this case. And one more. In this group, we have 8 15 kW ranges. So it's going to be the column C demand for 8 units plus 15% this time, right? Because 15 is over 12 kW by 3 kilowatts. So it's 5%, 5%, 5%, 15% total, right? It's 5% for every kilowatt. In this case, it's 3 kilowatts above 12. So that means we're going to add 15% onto column C. All right, and there it is. 8 units, each rated 15 kW. That's above 12. Each one's above 12, so we can't just read column C without adding something to it. In this case, we're going to add 15% to it. 23 kW plus 15%. That's a total of 26.4 kW. 45 kW, excuse me. All right, let's take a look at another one. What's the maximum permitted feeder or service demand load, right? The graphics all say feeder, but it doesn't matter if it's a feeder or service, right? You can use this method for feeders or services. In this case, we have 16 kW ranges. We have 11 of them. So we have a group of 11 ranges, each rated 16 kW, right? So we know the individual nameplates are above 12, so it's column C plus 20% in this case, right? Because 16 kW is 4 kilowatts above 12 kW, so we have to read column C and then add 20% to it. All right, so it's the maximum demand in column C for however many units there are. In this case, there's 11 units. So whatever that number is in column C, we need to add 20% to it. 11 units in column C. If they're 16 kW, we've got to add something to that. 26 kW plus 20% in this case. That's a total of 31.2 kW. That's it for this video. Stay tuned because I've got videos covering the other notes in Table 220.55. I'll see you in those videos.